The docks were especially busy this time of year, and all the engines were brought along to help out deliver goods. Henry in particular was doing a lot of work. One day at the docks, he was waiting impatiently for Cranky to finish loading his train.
Hurry up, Creaky Hook. I have important work to do.
Cranky was cross. And what do you think I'm doing, old square wheels? You engines should really think about what it's like in my perspective. All I do is get yelled at for doing my job.
All you have to do is turn. I have to push, and pull. I'm tired.
Henry whinged as he puffed out of the docks with a huff. The trucks cackled with laughter. Tired old Henry, what a sight! Always late and not so bright.
Be quiet!
Henry scoffed, his face turning red. Henry stopped at a station to drop off some goods, where James was waiting with his own rake of coaches.
My oh my, Henry, you look as red as I am. We have too much work. I've been rushed off my wheels all week. Well, I've heard that there's a new engine coming tomorrow. He's big and from the mainland. Sir Topham says he'll put a dent in the goods industry. Well, it's certainly been long overdue,
Henry remarked before he went off for some water. The next day, Henry went to the docks again to collect some more trucks. But instead of a long line of trucks, he found a very long and big engine idling where Cranky was. Henry was baffled at the sight of the big engine.
Now who on earth are you?
I'm glad you asked, Henry. This here is Murdoch. As you can see, he is meant to pull very heavy freight. I trust, Sir Topham Hatt paused impressively, that you can show him around. As Sir Topham Hatt walked away, Murdoch greeted Henry. Hello, dear chap. Now, what work needs to be done? I'm eager to make a good first impression. Henry took Murdoch to the back of the docks where his train was waiting. But as Murdoch saw his train, he scoffed. This is my train. Surely you could get a tank engine to pull this lot, no?
No, this is your train. Now let's get coupled so I can show you around the main line.
But as the engines began to puff out of the docks, Murdoch whinged even more.
You call these rolling stock? You should call them rattle stock.
Henry ignored him, or at least tried to ignore him. But as Murdoch got on the main line, he got even worse. This isn't a railway, it's a roller coaster. Henry was super irritated, and he argued with Murdoch all the way to the big station. Henry went back to the sheds from the big station, and he grumbled about Murdoch to the other engines.
I tell you, that Murdoch is such a whiner. He won't shut up. I wish someone would give him a leash and tell him to close his mouth.
Then why don't you do it? Percy barked. You wanted another engine to help you out. Now you got him, and now you're complaining. Percy stormed out of the shed, sick of Henry's complaining. Suddenly, Henry's face dropped.
I was only trying to point it out.
Just then, Edward chimed in. I know Murdoch can be frustrating, Henry, but if you tell us in the way how you're doing now, by complaining, you don't sound any less irritating than he is.
You're right, Edward. But Murdoch won't learn that.
Just give it time, Henry. I'm sure he'll learn for himself. And he would, but sooner than anyone expected. Only a week later, Murdoch found himself at the docks before any of the other engines. He spoke to the harbor master in control. Your train is on siding 2, right next to Henry's. Right next to Henry's? Where is Henry? Well, he's delivering his train later, so I imagine he's probably at his sheds. Murdoch got an idea. Murdoch went to fetch his train.
And he did. He slowly buffered down onto his train, but he didn't pull out of the harbor right away. Then, Murdoch backed down onto Henry's train, nearly doubling his load. There we go! Now this train will be double on time! Murdoch puffed proudly out of the docks, having no idea what awaited him. As Murdoch puffed down the main line, the trucks rattled and shattered behind him. Murdoch quickly grew sick of this. "Keep in line, you old tool sheds," Murdoch demanded as he bumped the cars hard. But the cars were furious. "Let's show this big brute who's boss!" As they schemed up a plan as Murdoch reached Gordon's Hill. Murdoch struggled up the hill with the trucks behind him, nearly forgetting he was carrying double the weight. Come on, don't struggle, don't struggle, don't struggle," he chanted as the trucks behind him giggled and shook. But as he reached the top of the hill and got over, the trucks began. They giggled and pushed and shoved Murdoch. On! They all wailed as they shoved Murdoch down the hill. The driver threw on the brakes, but the load was too heavy for even Murdoch to stop. Help! Yo! Just then, Gordon was waiting on the same line that Murdoch was. He was unaware of the runaway Murdoch in his cars. The signalman acted fast. He quickly diverted Murdoch onto an old branch line where the rails were weak and rusty. "We have to stop!" Murdoch wailed, but it was too late. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. But Sir Topham Hatt reprimanded Murdoch. "You have caused confusion and delay, taking trains that aren't yours, as well as taking trains too early. It's clear that I need others to keep a better eye on you, because you do not know the ways of my railway." Murdoch could only look down at his buffers in embarrassment. Henry had to shunt Murdoch to the works. "I'm sorry I was so rude to you, Henry, and I'm very sorry that I complained. I guess I'm just too used to how things work on the mainland." "That's alright. I was complaining a lot too before you arrived, but I think we both know how to express ourselves for next time." And like that, the two became friends. Meanwhile, at the crash site, Sir Topham Hatt surveyed the area. This is the old town of Harwin Lake. I haven't seen it since I was a child. Perhaps I should consider reopening the branch line. But that's a story for another day.